So the SEC, what they're doing in this article is they voted to amend a section in the 2009 custody rule. So the 2009 custody rule is basically for banks that in the advent of all of the new banking services that were being offered over the internet that required them to have a certain amount of security and have it hardened. And it basically said that they would be responsible if there was loss because of a security breach to any customer. Now that seems, very logical. And other things in that custody rule also said that if you are keeping assets in custody for clients, that you are responsible for those assets if they are lost or stolen. Now they're saying basically that, okay, we're going to slip cryptocurrencies under that same umbrella. And this article is trying to illustrate that that's going to make it very difficult. Well, you're right, it's going to make it very difficult. Hopefully it prevent things like Sam Bankman-Fried thinking that all money deposited in his exchange were his to play with and do with whatever he pleased. I can donate it to politicians, I can buy places in the Bahamas, I can live high on the hog and do anything I want to. Oh darn, it went bankrupt. Ah, shucks. It's looking to, because he did that, now the SEC is taking a much stronger look at making exchanges liable for the funds that are in their custody. So here's the situation. I go to Coinbase and I decide that I want Coinbase because I'm more comfortable dealing with the banking industry, and they offer me services similar to a banking industry type of entity to deposit my coin there, and they keep the private keys and they keep the funds in their custody. So basically they're going to say to the Coinbases, to the Binance exchanges of the world, that if you have money or coin deposited in your custody and you're holding the private keys, that you are responsible if those are lost or stolen. Same as a bank. Okay, that seems logical to me. It is going to make it very difficult though, because along with that, and it alludes to it in this article, along with that comes a lot of other overhead. They have to have annual statements. They have to have annual audits by an external auditing company. They have to show that they've been responsible as a fiduciary would be responsible for those funds. So they have to literally, square up with the rest of the financial industry to do what is expected of any bank. And so, that's where the SEC is going. And I don't think there's going to be anything that stops them from going there. Whether the crypto industry complains or not, I just don't think anything is going to stop them after we see something like a Sam Bankman-Fried that just whisks away billions of dollars and really doesn't even bat an eye. So I want to go ahead and illustrate that this isn't just a move by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. It's really a move internationally. So if you go to another article here that I found on the side over here, it's this article. They are trying to, the G20 is the 20 economically strong countries that get together and try to make financial policy. They got together and they talked that by July they wanted regulation and supervision on the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Now, what's going to be really interesting is a lot of those cryptocurrencies aren't necessarily meant as coins that are, investments and or meant to be, meant to be speculative assets. They are assets, but they're not meant to be speculative assets. So they don't really fit the paradigm of a bank or a brokerage house. They kind of fit somewhere in the middle where some of those assets are just assets. They don't necessarily own them just to increase their value. So anyway, so we've got that paradigm issue. But the challenge is the Financial Stability Board, or FSB, which is one of the G20 entities, is basically expecting to publish regulations in July of this coming year. And it's going to be expected that the G20 countries would then implement at least that level of regulation and standards. So let's go one step further. We have another entity, which is called the Financial Action Task Force, and it is an even larger entity than the G20, and they put out a recommendation a while back. In fact, it was supposed to be in 2020, October 15. They had its recommendation 15 in October 2018 to put regulations around the crypto industry, and countries just didn't do it. So here we are 5 years later. What's going on? And so they've been hammering constantly on the idea of you've got to regulate crypto. And the thing that scares me in this one is that they had to be able to be willing to outlaw cryptocurrencies or digital currencies totally outright. That is on the table and being discussed at this level. So here you've got a situation where the cryptocurrency industry has not done themselves any favors by allowing themselves to constantly be hacked, constantly be stolen, constantly be absconded with. The fraud and the graft and the potential for, financing things that are not in the best interest of most people has really crippled the ability of the crypto industry to self-regulate or to regulate itself going forward. And that's unfortunate, because I think the crypto industry could have really, and still can really, if it survives, can really benefit the people out here. I get the feeling that governments are going to be strong enough to basically stamp it out eventually, but we'll see. Thank goodness that the blockchain technology will live on and benefit the majority of businesses out there. But at the same time, we're still seeing the fact that there's going to be significant regulation when it comes to crypto asset. And so that's kind of where things are going. We'll stay tuned and watch for more in the future.